This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening, welcome to this evening's newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Without further ado, let's get to the news in detail. Congressional Democrats are calling for top executives at ExxonMobil and other oil giants to testify at a House hearing as lawmakers investigate what they say is a long-running industry-wide campaign to spread misinformation about the role of fossil fuels in causing global warming. The House Oversight Committee on Thursday requested that executives at ExxonMobil, BP, Chevron, and Shell testify at a hearing next month, along with leaders of the American Petroleum Institute, the oil industry's top lobbying group, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Representative Rokana has been focusing on Exxon for a senior lobbyist for the company was caught in a secret video bragging that Exxon had fought climate science through shadow groups and had targeted influential senators in an effort to weaken President Joe Biden's climate agenda, including a bipartisan infrastructure bill and a massive $3.5 trillion bill spending currently moving through Congress. In other news, the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, under the auspices of the Ministry of Agriculture, has in recent months repeatedly put out tenders inviting suppliers to provide a quantity of steel sheets for the budget agency under the ministry. The practice, however, is being frowned upon by several local contractors who are now alleging collusion on the part of the ministry, since the practice is not only unethical but tantamount to corruption and should be considered illegal. It was explained that each time the ministry puts out a tender for a contract, many of which run into hundreds of millions or even billions, it would cost every person or company submitting a bid hundreds of thousands of dollars for each bid submitted. When the contract is open at NPTAB and retendered, at least one contractor who spoke to Kaieteur explained that it is tantamount to the state agencies providing insider information to their preferred bidders. And moving on, an autopsy conducted Thursday on the remains of Essequibo businessman Orrin Boston revealed that he was shot to the chest and not to the arm, as was initially reported by the Ghana Police Force. 29-year-old Boston, a resident of Lot 22 Happy Street, Dartmouth Village, Essequibo Coast, was shot around 4 hours 40 on Wednesday while lying in his bed by SWAT ranks. They had reportedly invaded his home that morning to conduct a search for prohibited items. The Ghana Police Force had stated in a release that Boston was shot to his arm that morning following a confrontation between its SWAT team ranks and Boston during the search. His relatives, however, refuted the claims that there was a confrontation, and now a post-mortem examination on Boston's body is contradicting the initial GPF reports that he was shot to his arm. And moving on, a new scandal has emerged at Trinidad and Tobago's state-owned National Gas Company Limited. This time, the cost to taxpayers is almost $200 million, and the company has said it has learned from its lesson from the debacle. The revelation comes on the heels of another scandal where it spent well over $250 million on a failed attempt to save Atlantic LNG Train 1, and its board of directors asked the government and received protection from responsibility for the loss of taxpayers' dollars. At the center of this latest scandal, the NGC started a project in 2017 that included the design, procurement, construction, and commissioning of a compressor facility. Well into the project, the company discovered that there was no need for it after spending $197.5 million and subsequently stopped it. The result is a loss of the money, and the company is stuck with $100 million worth of compressors, which it has not been able to sell. And to wrap things up this evening, let's tell you that a man who took a woman to a hotel was robbed of valuables and cash to the tune of $793,000 moments after checking in and leaving to purchase food. The matter was reported to his and This led to 27-year-old Candace Thompson and her alleged accomplice, 20-year-old Juliana Bevany of Canterbury Walk Betapawakting, being charged with and placed before the court for the offence. The defendants appeared yesterday in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Magistrate Rondell Weaver. They denied the charge, which alleges that on Monday, September 13th, at Hatfield Street, Georgetown, they robbed Sherwin Jackson of 3 gold chains valued $448,000, 1 gold finger ring valued $160,000, 10 pennyweight raw gold valued $170,000, and $15,000 cash. The court heard that only 1 gold chain was recovered, but not in the defendant's possession. The women are to return to court on October 15th.
And that's the news of the moment. Remember to get the full details of these stories,